And the vertical market, for instance, could be Avis Rent-A-Car. So Avis Rent-A-Car has a fleet of workers that they require certain communication, certain applications, and they're continuously mobile. So the need generates the application. So I would say that it's like a two-sword kind of thing. Like there's a need created the application, at the same time the developers with their creativity can create an application that will solve a need or create a need themselves.
Now, I'm kind of also wondering, what are the competitive advantages you guys see for developing for the particular platform? Whether it's Nokia or Motorola, I mean, we can go down the line for this. What are some of the advantages you find in working in different, on different OSs and smartphones?
And that one is for me.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely working with Nokia for us is provides a lot of advantages. First of all, you have the choice of platforms. As I mentioned at the beginning, you not only have Symbian, but you also have Flash, you also have widgets at one time, and soon you're going to have Maplets. So for different applications, different services, you have different options. So that opens a lot of flexibility. You are not stuck with one technology or one specific runtime. On the other hand, we have Forum Nokia, which is the biggest developers community in the world. Has about 4 million developers registered today. And they provide all the tools that you might need, support, events, webinars, promotion for us developers. They have a specific program to help developers grow from the standard developer up to pro developers, and you get some peers out of that. You get access to devices, you get access to a roadmap, to direct marketing with carriers, with channels. So definitely Forum Nokia is a very, very important tool in all this for us. And last but not least, funding. We get a lot of opportunities of getting funded by competitions involving Nokia. There is, for example, the Open Screen Project Fund, which is an Adobe Nokia initiative for flashlights. It is a $10 million fund, which is used to fund developers with any creative idea that can combine flash technology with mobile devices. In fact, we just received also funding for one project for those, so it's a fund that exists, the money is there. And we have the store, we have OVI Store, which is the distribution channel, the new distribution channel. And it's global, covers more than 200 devices today, I would say, 74 countries. And it's not only a content store, it's not only an application store, it's also a content store, so you can sell from applications up to videos, personalization items, etc. For me, that's it.
What about, you're talking about the advantages of Palm Pre versus iPhone. Palm Pre's new, the store and everything. I'm wondering what are the development kind of perks between them? Yeah.
Palm Pre's platform is based, it's Linux-based, just like the iPhone is, which is a lot of from Android to Linux-based on the bottom. And then WebOS, and then the development language for WebOS is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which are web standards right now. In fact, HTML5. So there's an army of developers out there waiting to develop for that platform. So it's relatively new, so there's those quirks that come with the platform. But they have a good development environment. You have a good Eclipse comes with it, a nice virtual machine, so you can pretty much run your Palm device on your PC. So you don't need an actual phone to do development for it, which most of the other frameworks do too. But this one's particularly nice. It's not as quirky as I've used with some other frameworks. I think also if I was to do iPhone development, I'd have to learn Objective-C, and I'd have to learn the Cocoa framework, and it's kind of it's a lot more hurdle for me personally to go into that versus the WebOS development, where, like I said, very standards based, and I have a feeling that the standards based is going to take over as a whole because of the fact that the difficulty of developer having to learn to develop for Nokia, having to learn to develop for Android devices or iPhone. If you can find one standard that you can run across all of those different platforms, then you kind of cut out the need to keep rewriting these applications over and over again. So that's one of the big advantages I see in the WebOS, besides the fact that it's relatively new and it comes with those type of reports.
The WebOS is not new, right? So the WebOS is just an instance of the OS web development. I mean, Motorola had an initiative already for a web-like operating system too, where everything is a widget, everything in HTML is written in HTML. But I think the most important value of any of these technologies is tractions. Who is the big giant behind that? Number one, who's the big manufacturer? But number two, who's the big carrier behind that? AT&T, Vodafone, or no, it would be one of those big mega carriers that can push an initiative forward. In my personal opinion, Google has been working already with Chrome, which is the version of the new browser. But it's not only a browser. Chrome is also an environment, a development environment where you can instantiate HTML application, scripts. And more and more, the integration between Chrome and the native operating system is made, then the closer we're going to get all these mobile devices to have this unified platform where everything is going to be web-based. And I think that's where Google is going to, because if you see Android, very simple, right now, today, you can just do it. Remove all the Android applications from the device, from the build that Android provides on the web for free, you can download, and simply left the WebKit browser, the WebView widgets, and add a couple of some work on that, and then you will have a web-based OS. You have a web-based phone, in other words. So you can instantiate like the Palm Pre already on Android, and at the same time, so as a developer, if you write a web-based application, you can run it on Android, on the iPhone, on the Palm Pre, on any, even some of the Nokia devices are being loaded with WebKit browser, which is the browser right now in terms of development. And that's in the future, I think there will be two key drivers with the browser, because the browser is the central point on the phone. And number two, how is this browser integrated to the rest of the functional areas on the device? The more this integration is closer, the higher the chances are that everyone is dropping all these native apps. All these stores are going to probably converge into one single solution.
That kind of goes into my next question. I mean, you have a small business who says, I want to make an app, and what do they choose? They choose the iPhone because everyone has one. And maybe second on the list, they go, okay, well, now what other phone do we make it for? I'm kind of wondering what people should keep in mind if they are a business trying to find programmers, those kinds of challenges of going, okay, so we did iPhone because it's the most popular, but what kind of is the thought process next for companies? I mean, do they go eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Do they go, let's do BlackBerry because that's a popular phone? Do we do Palm because it's easy to program on? What should people be thinking?
All of the above.
All of the above?
iPhone is the most popular in the US, but in Latin America, very, very far from that. So, in fact, in the two biggest markets, which are Brazil and Mexico, Nokia has pretty much, and Motorola have pretty much the upper hand. And definitely, at one point, you have to ask yourself if it is worth building the applications for all the possible platforms or manufacturers. Because if you want to go global, I go Nokia. If I want to do a very cool application with a big marketing drive, media-oriented, I will go iPhone.
Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Maybe one thing is like a matrix, right? Very few people